Well, we do have a interview ready with one of the members over on Secret. It is going to be the lovely Puppey joining us, so we'll bring him in. Puppey, congratulations. Dan, I'll let you start. Do you have any questions?
Hey, Puppey, congrats on the win. I want to talk about just the formation of this this version of Secret. You know, like what made you go with this selection of players? What made you think that Boom would be the good fit for the offlane? And was it specifically looking into other regions for, you know, some of the cream that you could pick from there and add to your roster? Just tell me a bit about the process.
Well, after going to Division 2, I felt like the team is not really capable of bringing themselves back, you know, the previous one. So kind of decided that we're in a kind of a full disband mode in a way. And, you know, there were some people that are really good at Dota. There are like Armel that also kind of like disbanded, his team disbanded and shit like that. And I was looking at him, there was other options, but at the end of the day, I chose people that are skilled enough and young enough that can, you know, be motivated to win tournaments. And I think Armel is one of them. Yamich is one of them. And Boom, the offlane pool of players is really small, actually. So I kind of asked, like, Boom, do you want to try it out? Because working with him is really nice. He's a pretty good guy. And yeah, we just kind of like went with it in this sense.
It looks like you've got Yamich and Armel with you now at the boot camp. Is it just a thing of like getting them to adjust to the team vibes? Because obviously you played with Boom, you played with Crystallis before. Is it just wanting to get that one-on-one in-person time, and will the other guys be joining you soon?
There's an actually story of going to a boot camp, but maybe we'll tell it later. But other than that, I would say that it's basically like we kind of gel together very nicely. We're just in here to get better every day. And I don't really have much like thought processes like into the future or something like that. We just want to play good Dota right now. And there are still mistakes that we make, but I think all of us know that we should watch replays and kind of like iron it out. And yeah, like there's nothing really more to say besides the team's hardworking and we're just ready to go.
Yeah, I think we saw that with your reactions after game number 1. You know, we had big smiles on Armel. He's used to that sort of craziness in C, and you were kind of having like, oh my God, what did I just have to play through? But what is that the sort of game that you think you're going to be able to get the most out of, where you can look to iron out mistakes, or is it more about reinforcing the good things that you did? Because it really felt like game number 2, you were in control from start to finish.
I mean, to be fair, game 1 was supposed to be the same. And we just let go of it, and to like watching that replay will be very important for us to know exactly why it went down the way it went, and we will learn a lot from that game. Because to me, I consider it mostly a loss because we lost our lead, and therefore we need to like look at it and see what really happened, what movements were incorrect, and how did we just let the enemy start farming. Because in that game Doom had like 2.5 net worth when Monkey King had 6, so that was a pretty rough one. He had less net worth than me almost.
Yeah, for sure. And it really felt like you guys were going to be in a strong position to end it early. But yeah, that late game draft, just a couple of team fights. So is that something that you really go into each game wanting to do? Like, is Secret Dota fast Dota all the time, or is it something that you tend to cater to each opponent that you face up against? Like, do you feel like Alliance might not be able to play against that quite as effectively as some other teams?
No, I don't think so. I also think that EU Dota is practically fast Dota. Like either it's farming fast or it's moving fast, but it's fast. I don't think EU has turned into a farm fest whatsoever anymore. Now everybody kind of like gets an advantage and starts locking people into like a part of the map. Because what Tundra did in TI is basically one lead for them means that you lose all map, and that's not necessarily like a passive or something like that. It's really aggressive, but it's in the correct ways, and it's just kind of like it moves like a wall. And yeah, I think EU Dota itself is very competitive, and teams are just kind of playing very fast, and one mistake means that you perhaps have lost the tempo of the game and stuff like that. So I don't know, EU Dota best, you know?
I have one last question before I hand it over to Aries. You know, that's been the discourse that EU Dota, best Dota, how are these Div 2 teams beating Eastern Europe Div 1 teams, yada, yada, yada. But, like, have you taken any learnings from some of the players that have come in from the other regions? Like, have you learned much from Armel from C? Have you learned much from Yamich from Eastern Europe? Or is it all about, like, they need to learn how to play Secret Dota?
No, it's quite the opposite, actually. Every time you have some kind of guy coming from a different area, like all you do is kind of like you just try to get as much information as like what you think is good or what's going on over there, because every type of small information can get you like some kind of a lead in draft or understanding of what you can do. So yeah, it's basically like, you know, CIS players, they really do think about like timings and tempo and much more like in that regard. EU people maybe cheese a little bit more. I don't know. It's just hard to say. But every time somebody comes from a different region, you instantly like you feel like you gotta tell me what's up. You know, tell me what's in there. You know.
Cool.
Puppey, I'm curious. Of course, you've been in the scene for quite some time now. I wonder, what do you feel like is the biggest life lesson overall that you've learned from playing Dota through all your years? Is there something that you think comes to mind?
I don't know. I would consider that losing is natural in Dota. Like, you're gonna lose, all right? Like, everybody's gonna lose. EU Dota right now, good, but in some point, it's gonna be shit. I'm telling you. That's just how the world works. And basically, right now, I'm in Div 2. You know, would have maybe not guessed it, but at the same time, you know, whatever. Life is life. You know, get to play Dota as my job. So why not? Why not, honestly?
And one more, what do you guys, I know, like you said, everyone's not there currently, the boot camp, but the people that are there, what are you guys enjoying doing when you're playing Dota? Is there any activities you're doing all together?
Yeah. I mean, usually it's like we turn into like we try to find a game to play a lot of the times, like when we're just doing nothing. So like a lot of the times we just find some kind of game that some kind of streamers maybe play, like Raft or something like that, and then we just watch Keen like, you know, dig for us and stuff, and it's just like, you know, stupid shit like this, you know, you just do.
It's good though.
Yeah, I can do that. So yeah, basically like we just find a game to play perhaps, and they just kind of like zone into it and just do some stupid shit. So it's like probably what everybody does, honestly.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations on your win, and very excited to see your upcoming games as well. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Thank you. Goodbye.